Okay, I want to review yesterday and then we'll get on to the new stuff. Write an equation of a line parallel to y equals 5x minus 2. Okay, so write an equation that's a y equals blank x plus blank. You got to find the m and the b. So m is your slope, b is your y-intercept. Now the word parallel means we find the m differently. Parallel means we have to have the same m in the equation here that you have here. Well, this is easy because y is by itself, so you have m, b. So if the m is 5 here, well, it's got to be 5 over here. Okay, I don't care what their b is. My b is going to be different. And through the point negative 3, 4, so y equals m times x plus b. So m is 5, and then you use the 4, negative 3 for your b. So b plus 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. You add 15. That's going to be 19. 19 equals b. Okay, they'll have the same m, but they'll have different b's. Okay, now we're going to get into something new. Okay, graph these two equations. This time they will not be parallel. They will cross, so you have m and b. So slope, y-int. So slope, negative 1 over 2, positive 4 is the y-intercept. And then you go down 1 over 2. So down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, take your ruler, make the line. Okay, let's graph the other one. MB. Slope, y-int. So slope is 2, okay? You'd make it 2 over 1, then negative 2 is your y-intercept. So negative 2. So then I go up 2, forward 1. So they're not going to be parallel here today. What they do, though, is they cross, and when they cross, they form a 90-degree angle, okay? See, I'm not a good line drawer, but this right here is a square corner. It's supposed to be if I was a good line grapher. So that is 90 degrees. Now there's a reason why it's 90, because if you look at the slopes, they're just flipped. They're reciprocals. And one's negative and one's positive. Okay? Now if we want to reaffirm the point, MB, MB. So slope here would be 2 over 3. And the y-intercept would be negative 1. Then from there you go up 2 over 3. Okay, so slope, y-int. So negative 3 over 2 plus 2 is the y-intercept. So 2. Then from there you move down 3, forward 2. Okay, these cross, they cross at a square corner. That means it's a 90-degree angle. Okay, 90 degrees. Reason why is because if you look at the slopes, 2 over 3, 3 over 2, they're just flipped, and one's positive, one's negative. That's called perpendicular. Okay, perpendicular, not parallel. Now, to do perpendicular equations, this is kind of the same as parallel, but you need to have a skill. It's not a hard skill. Find the reciprocal and make it opposite. So you make that 4 a fraction, put it over 1. Then you just flip it to 1 over 4, and if this is positive, this is negative. Okay? So you make it 1 over 8. This is positive, this is negative. You make that 5 over 3. This is positive, this is negative. Make that 2 over 3. This is positive, this is negative. Make that 6 over 5. This is negative, that's positive. Okay. Make it 6 over 1, or 6. This is positive, this is negative. Put that 1 over 6. If we have a negative, then mine's going to be positive. Okay, 5 over 4, positive, this is negative. Okay, it's enough of the games. Now let's go look at what we're doing. Okay, now you're writing an equation in slope-intercept form. That means mx plus b, that through the given point and perpendicular to the given equation. So perpendicular to y equals negative 3x plus 2 through negative 6, 2. Now the setup's the same, just your m, you got to do a little bit more work rather than just write the same m. That's parallel. Now this is slope, this is y-intercept. Now perpendicular, here's what you're going to do. You're not going to write same, you're going to put flip, comma, opposite. Just put OPP if you want, flip, opposite. So you find the m in this equation. It's negative 3. You don't care about the b. Now to flip it, this has to be a fraction, so you put a 1 under it, but then you flip it to 1 over 3. Now you flipped it, now you have to make it opposite. So if this is negative, ours has to be positive. So 1/3. And then the b is the same thing. Y equals m times x plus b. So the m is 1/3. And then 2 is y, and then negative 6 is x. B plus, and you take your 1/3 times your negative 6, negative 2. Then you add 2, it's 4. 4 equals b. Okay, 1/3 x plus 4. Okay, perpendicular to y equals 1/2. Remember, when I see, so y equals blank x plus blank. So m is the slope, b is the y-intercept. Okay, perpendicular, you don't use the same m, you flip and make opposite. So the m here, I don't care about the b, is 1 over 2. So to flip it, I make it 2 over 1, and then you need to make it opposite. So if this is positive, mine here has to be a negative. So flip it, but then remember to make it opposite. Now if you have a 1 on the bottom, it's got to be a 1, it's got to be on bottom. You can just put negative 2. If you want to keep it negative 2 over 1, fine, but if you have a 1 and it's on bottom, you can just use the top number as a whole. So y equals m times x plus b. So m is negative 2, then y is 3, and then x negative 2. So b plus negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. And you subtract 4. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Negative 1 equals b. Okay, there's that word perpendicular to y equals 1/5 x plus 3 through 10 negative 3. MB. So m is my slope, b is my y-intercept. So MB, now remember perpendicular means you flip the slope to 5 over 1 and then make it opposite. So if that's positive, we have to have negative. We don't need a 1. If it's 1 on the bottom, you should just be putting negative 5 in. Now if it's 1 on top, you got to keep it. But a number over a 1 is just the whole number, or the integer, so to speak. Whole would only be positive. So negative 3 is your y, then times 10. We get a big answer here. Okay, negative 5 times 10 is negative, or b plus negative 50. Then you add 50. Negative 3 plus 50 is 47. 47 equals B. That's the answer. Big Y, big B. Good thing we don't have to graph it because I'd never get up to 47. Okay, perpendicular to Y equals 2/5 x plus 3 through negative 6, 5. MB. So M is the slope and B is the y-intercept. So perpendicular, remember, it's not the same M, it's flip M and make opposite. So MB, so you flip it to 5/2. It's positive here, so ours has to be negative. Get rid of that 3, you don't use it. So B, you find your own B. Y equals M times X plus B. So M is negative 5/2. And then Y is 5. And then negative 6 is X. So B plus. So I take negative 5/2 times negative 6, and that's 15. And you minus 15. That's negative 10. Negative 10 equals B. Okay, perpendicular to Y equals 5x plus 4 through negative 10, positive 3. Okay, so 1, you don't need, and you need to flip it to 1/5, and if that's positive, ours has to be negative. So the negative 1/5, okay, that's your M. So Y equals M times X plus B. So the M, negative 1/5. So 3 is Y, 10 is X. So you take negative 1, ABC 5 times 10, that's negative 2. You add a 2 to both sides, and that's 5. 5 equals B. Okay. Last one. You get a little problem on this one, though. So M and B. Remember, perpendicular means you need to flip the M and make it opposite. Problem is the Y is not by itself. Well, that's something we have to do. It's because we don't even know the M in this equation until the Y is by itself. So X minus 2Y equals 4. So your Y has a multiplier of negative 2. I put a 1 there because I need to get rid of the 1x. That's outside. That's being added to your negative 2 times Y. You're going to divide by negative 2, but you got to get rid of the 1x. So minus 1x. Then you make a 0x and you minus 1x from there. So we have negative 2 times Y. Now you don't want to put the 4 first. You want to put your x down first. 0 minus 1 would give you negative 1 and then plus 4. And I screwed something up. I'll just fix it here. This has to be a positive, okay? The Y has to be positive. Just make the switch here. Positive, positive, negative, okay? I forgot to do it in the original, so you can quickly make that, because you do not want to be dividing by a negative when doing this. It screws up your slope. So it's just 2. Now 1 divided by 2 is a decimal, so we keep it 1/2 with x, and then negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. Now you have your M and B. So we had to work a little bit to find our M, but remember, I don't use the same M. I flip it to 2/1 and make it opposite. So if that's positive, this is negative. If you have a 1 on the bottom, just use negative 2. So B, Y equals M times X plus B. So the M is negative 2. Then negative 6 is Y. and then 1 is x. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Then you add 2. Negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 equals b. Okay. I don't think there's anywhere the y is not by itself, but if there is,